And we have some more inputs coming in on this story, and this is a CNN News 18 mega exclusive news break. Now, the top intel sources have claimed that these are baseless allegations which have been put forth by Justin Trudeau and the Khalistani elements. And in fact, the intel sources have also questioned that why Canadian government never cooperated with investigations in multiple terror cases where attacks happened from Canada. And in fact, they've also claimed that multiple LRs are pending with the Canadian government for which they have never replied. So the top intel sources have questioned the Canadian government that why they never cooperated with the investigations in multiple terror cases where attacks happened from Canada itself. And they've also claimed that multiple LRs are pending with the Canadian government for which they have never bothered to reply. And the top intel sources have also claimed that the allegations that were put, the remark made by Justin Trudeau was baseless and absurd. And we have CNN News 18's Abhishek Jha joining us on this story. Abhishek, could you give us more details as the top intel sources has now questioned the Canadian government for not cooperating with the investigations, and they've also claimed that the allegations which were put by Justin Trudeau were absolutely baseless?
Of course, and we have seen in the past also, India has raised the issue of Khalistan terrorists operating from Canada, but the Canadian government hasn't been able to act anything in despite assurance. In fact, the Minister of Canada was in India and he was also given all the evidences and kind of operation that these Khalistani groups are operating through Canadian soil, but he has his assurances did not bear any fruit, and we saw how these elements have been operating freely and without any remorse in Canada. Now, the latest situation has been that the new Sikh for Justice Force chief and other smaller extremist Sikh organization in Canada, they have started threatening Hindu community there. We saw Canadian MP R.S. Shekhar also underlining the fact that now the latest attempt is to create a divide between Hindu and Sikh community in Canada, and this is not good for the Canadian government, also Canadian society also, because a lot of them, about less than 2 million Indian population or Indian diaspora live in Canada. A lot of them are Hindu and Sikh, and they have been living in harmony. They have been working and contributing in the social, economic and political life of Canada, but there has never been a divided time among Hindu and Sikh community, and this is what now Sikh for Justice or other smaller Khalistani violent extremist organizations are trying to do in Canada.
In fact, Abhishek, as you were mentioning about Canadian MP Chandra Arya, he also mentioned that hate speeches are being glorified in Canada in the name of freedom of speech and expression.
Of course, we have seen, Julie, in the recent past, there have been several parades where the killers of former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, they were glorified. There have been instances where Hindus' temples, they have been attacked. So there is a clear and very well-planned attempt to create a divide in the community and also establish an anti-India sentiment among the Sikh population who is living in Canada and portray it as a larger voice of the Sikh community. There could be very handful of people, but most of the people who are there to work and, they are busy in their day-to-day life, they do not want to come out in the open and criticize these Sikh extremist groups for the various reasons, for their own safety and security reason as well. But that does not mean that what is happening in Canada is the voice of the larger Sikh majority group in Canada. These are very smaller fringe elements. They have political shelters. Now they are being backed by the government also. That is also becoming very obvious because of their laxity, their reluctance to act against them. And they are trying to portray an anti-India sentiment is very strong in Canada, which is not true. And this is what the Canadian MP was also trying to highlight.
Well, thank you so much, Abhishek, for those details.